Everybody and their mama is talking about AI. How fast it's moving, how much it's going to automate, how much money it's going to save. But here's what no one is saying. Without human-centered change leadership, your AI initiatives will fail. Period. That's why in this video, I'm breaking down why humanizing the change process is your only insurance policy in this AI-powered world. And I've got the human-powered AI adoption playbook to show you how to do it before it's too late. Let's talk about it. Let's first talk about what happens when you dehumanize change. And this is something that I'm seeing in so many organizations around the world, especially as AI is beginning to become proliferated all around the world. It's not AI that's scaring your workforce or scaring your employees, it's how you handle introducing the technology that scares them. When organizations rush this AI transformation, this AI adoption, without recognizing the difficult emotions it inspires, without doing it with some level of emotional fluency and emotional literacy, what happens is resistance skyrockets, your innovation will stall, and your morale will tank. And it's so interesting. I was listening to Sam Altman recently. He was doing a podcast with Adam Grant. And Adam always asks at the end of his podcast, what question do you have for me? And Sam's question was, how do I reinvigorate my workforce to allow them to be more resilient, right? Because their workforce is feeling a lot of resistance and feeling a lot of fatigue and a lot of, struggle as they're going through it at such a rapid pace. So Sam himself is trying to understand, how do I nurture resiliency? How do I acknowledge the difficult emotions that my workforce is experiencing? How do we use that emotion to keep moving us forward? So even the merchants of AI are recognizing the power in this. The reality is, when you dehumanize your change efforts, when you don't recognize that you employ emotional beings first, your resistance is going to grow. What will happen is there will be unchecked burnout, your attrition rates will go through the roof, and ultimately the morale and the connection within your organization is going to suffer. I firmly believe the greatest risk to AI adoption around the world isn't technical, it's emotional neglect. So now I want to share 3 human-centered questions that every leader should pose when going through an AI transition. Question number 1, how are we naming the emotions that this technology is bringing up, right? What are the avenues that we're using to hear how our people are feeling, to allow them to give language to those emotions, so that these emotions don't go unchecked, so that our emotions are not being suppressed and starting to fuel resistance. So how are we doing that? What are the avenues that we have established for employees to name those emotions? And have we garnered the right amount of trust to make sure they feel safe sharing their authentic emotions, not just the excitement and the gratitude and the joy that I'm certain they think you want to hear? Question number 2, how can I model vulnerability and learning in real time? For you who is leading a team, you have direct reports, and you're going through a lot of AI transition and AI integration, find ways to role model vulnerability, where you can share how this new technology, how all the change and complexity is inspiring maybe fear, frustration, or anger within you. Of course, rooted in the belief in what's possible, in the belief of the mission, but still sharing you yourself are still human. And how are you role modeling when you've learned, right? You have to adopt these tools as well. Maybe share how, yes, I tried using this tool, it was so uncomfortable. I have no clue what I'm doing and I got so frustrated. But you know what? This one little part I actually learned really well last week, right? So be able to share your learning and give opportunity for the team to share out learnings that they've had as well when they experienced discomfort and what came from it. And the third and final question is, where are my people emotionally stuck, and what can I do to support them? This is going to keep you in tune, again, with those emotional energies that your people are experiencing and embodying, whether they're telling you about them or not, right? So asking yourself, where are they getting stuck? Where might there be a lot of resistance in the organization? Where might things be stalled out? And what can support look like from me? This is about your ability to diagnose emotional friction, that stuff that's going to hold you back, and then how to alleviate it or empower your people to transform that emotional energy into fuel. Because the reality is, this energy that fuels resistance, that fear, that anger, that anxiety, we have the power, each and every one of us, to transform that energy into fuel. right? To transform the energy into anticipation, into intrigue, into curiosity, and it can start moving us towards the change as opposed to away from it. Okay, now let's dive into my human-powered AI playbook that's going to help you guide yourself and your team across the next decade and beyond as AI becomes a mainstay. This playbook is going to help you face the reality that if you want your people to embrace AI, you have to give them the emotional infrastructure so that they can thrive with it. So let's get into it. The first element is leading with meaning and not the mechanics. This is about rooting in purpose, the why. Why are you integrating these systems? Why is it imperative that you, the business, the enterprise, the organization, adopt this, right? What will it mean for the business? What will it mean for delighting your employees, for delighting your clients and those that you serve? Make sure you're anchored in your why. Next is make sure every day you are nurturing psychological safety. And this is really also about nurturing trust so that there's spaces, defined times, places for individuals to share their feelings, to emote, to give language to them, to name them. This is not just something to employ right at the beginning of a rollout. This is something you do on a frequent basis. Again, it's building that infrastructure, making sure there are touch points throughout a month, throughout a week, throughout a quarter for employees to emote, to share their feelings, give language to it. The next part that's so important is around empowerment. It's not telling your people what to do, it's allowing them to experiment with the tools. Yes, you want to give them some type of framing to actually use it, but you also want to invite experimentation because it invites failure. And perhaps there's a structure where individuals can talk about, I tried this and it didn't work, here's what I learned and here's what I'm going to try next, right? So nurture that experimentation, nurture that failure, nurture the discomfort that comes with the failure, and allow people to play with the tools, right? To play with the AI, to play with these systems as you're bringing them online. The next part of the playbook is, as best you can, recognize those emotional signals early. Now, I think having those spaces for employees to talk about their emotions and name their feelings, that's going to help you do so. But you also need to make sure you're curious and that you're staying in tune with the organization as you're doing these rollouts, right? And as soon as you can sense or recognize that there's fear, frustration, anger somewhere that might be driving resistance and moving you away from adopting the change, you want to recognize that as early as you can so you can do something about it. Last and certainly not least, celebrate. Celebrate when they're a success, even when they're small, right? You want to celebrate when people are using the tool effectively, but also celebrate their resiliency. Celebrate when people have experienced some level of discomfort because they're experimenting, they failed, but then they learned from it and move forward. So celebrate the growth. Celebrate when people are sharing that and showing it. Because this whole idea of having discomfort, experiencing growing pains, that is our reality. That is going to be constant. So celebrate it that it's okay to have it as long as you're learning from it every time, right? Invite discomfort, inviting those dissenting voices, inviting the arguments because it makes you better as long as you can do it in a productive way. So those celebrations are so important. Showering with gratitude. You know, at Change Enthusiasm Global, my company, we do research all around the world at the intersection of change and emotion. And for one of these parts of our research, we asked how best to help an employee navigate when they're feeling resistant to change. In the US, the most effective strategy, and it fell in a top 3 across all the other regions that we tested, but it's sharing gratitude, appreciation for who they are and the effort they're making to show up and get the work done. It's a huge way to re-engage an individual, to re-engage an entire workforce, to celebrate and offer appreciation for them trying, for the experimentation, for the failure, the discomfort, and the learning that happens as a result of it. Make that a commonplace for you. Remember, everything that you're enduring right now in this age of AI is not just about digital transformation. It's about human transformation. And it all depends on the way you choose to lead it. And now I've got something free and super fun to share with you. So we just launched our public-facing Change Growth Type Assessment. This is a quick quiz to help you learn a little bit more about yourself and how you're showing up as a leader of change. After you get to the end of the quiz, you're going to be told what your type is with some guidance, some tips, and some tricks. So please take that quiz, help you understand how are you showing up today as a change leader, and so many people like to share it across socials as well. But it's a really good assessment to help you see how you show up today today and how you can continue becoming a better and better leader of change in this age of AI. And until we meet again and you click on another one of these thumbnails with my face on it, I want you to keep leading with authenticity. I want you to keep inviting feelings into the conversation, sharing your own, stepping into your own vulnerability, and remembering it's imperative that you focus on humanizing the change process as we continue to evolve into this age of AI. And of course, above all else, keep authentically rocking.